Suddi's first trip outside the walls of Qumran. Suddi was Jesus of Nazareth's teacher. Suddi was born and raised within the walls of Qumran, on top of the salt cliffs surrounding the Dead Sea. He has cousins in Nazareth. There's a long caravan with perhaps 20 camels, making lots of noise and squealing. The caravan was one that frequently stopped alongside the sea to gather salt. Suddi takes a bag of clothes and a little food on his first trip outside the walls of Qumran. The ride is rough and an interesting experience, Suddi explains. Camels are known for their tempers, but Suddi says the journey was fun. He wore a burnoose of the Arabs that keeps the sun off. It is a long cloak with a hood. The journey to Nazareth took a few days, and they stopped at only a few wells along the way. Capernaum is on the northern shore of the Sea of Galilee. The city of Jericho is north of the community. The Jordan River leads into the Sea of Death. On his journey to Nazareth, he went through the hills and mountains. Masada is in the south. It is not a city, it is a fortress. At one time when Israel was stronger, it was a stronghold of protection. It has fallen into disguise from Suddi's understanding. Suddi says Nazareth looks very dusty from a distance. It is an open village and not a city at all. He says it's worthless. The buildings in Qumran were made of brick, but not in Nazareth. Nothing is large in Nazareth. Their water supply is a fountain, which is a round opening coming out of a wall. The water is constant. Nazareth is a small town. Both Nazareth and Jerusalem are surrounded by hills. Suddi had a few shekels that his father gave him in a pouch around his belt for Nazareth, even though he didn't need money in Qumran. Suddi saw Roman soldiers on their horses wearing helmets, dressed in leather, and they had shiny swords on his trip. He then slept on the roof at his cousin Siv's house when he arrived. He liked to look at the stars when falling asleep. To eat, he would help them during the day with whatever was going on, whether it was things around the house or in the fields. He stayed there for 2 months for his first trip outside the Qumran walls. Nazareth was a small and quiet place. They knew when they entered 1 month to the next with the phases of the moon and marked each day off on the calendar. The calendars were made of clay tablets. There were 12 months for the 12 tribes of Israel, and each month was composed of 29 days because that was the cycle of the moon. Part of the rabbi's day-to-day work is letting the people know when the holidays are. The festivals were declared by the Sanhedrin in Jerusalem, and runners were then sent out to announce these to the rabbis. One Sabbath to the next was composed of 7 days. The month was based on phases of the moon, which completes its cycle every 29.5 days. The days do not have any names on the Hebrew calendars. Sunday is the first day, so they have numbers. Only the Sabbath has its own name. The trip to Nazareth took 2 days, and he had to sleep 2 nights in a tent. Nazareth became his favorite place when he wasn't studying or teaching. At his cousin's place, he often went up into the hills to meditate and commune. He tries to bring himself in touch with the universe. He meditates upon looking into himself and studies upon what he is. It was quiet there, and he loved it. Later in his life, when he was too old and sick to make the journey back and forth, he stayed permanently at the house in the hills above Nazareth. It was this peaceful place that he eventually passed away in. Suddi's sister Sarah. Suddi and his sister Sarah were born in Qumran, where the majority of the students were born. Sarah eventually left the community and lived in Bethesda, located near Jerusalem. She married a student in Qumran and decided to leave the community together. Most people who come to Qumran want to become students. They wore red bands that were for the visitors. The elders had to know the applicant's reasons and pass an examination to be a student there. Sarah's husband stayed there for 5 years to study, but was from elsewhere, so he wore the red band. A student could finish their studies in 5 years, but it normally took longer. Sarah's husband is rich and doesn't do anything in Bethesda. His parents are members of the Sanhedrin. Sanhedrin is how Suddi pronounced it. It's the same thing for the Roman Senate for Israel. There's a bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah. Bar means son, bat means daughter. The bat mitzvah was instituted mainly because of the women's liberation movement. They believed in the equality of women. Suddi did not marry to only focus on being a teacher. John 5:2 in the Bible describes Bethesda as a pool near Jerusalem, but Suddi said it was a place, a city. Going to Bethesda. Suddi said it is important to help children believe in themselves and not tell them what they are doing is foolish. Then they may think everything they do is foolish. Love and guidance can help a demon follow the positive path again. Fear and intolerance may cause them to be lost forever. Suddi took a trip to Bethesda to say goodbye to his sister. Apparently she was dying. Jesus used the words verily and truly to let the listener know the statement contains no amplification and should be taken seriously. This is especially true if spoken by a teacher in that part of the world. Suddi said that when a person dies, they must decide which lesson they wish to deal with and proceed to erase the debts that they have incurred. They then go to school on the other side, are given time to correct things, and then reincarnate again. Note: papyrus is thinner than papyri. Stay tuned for the next episode of this book.